Dependent and independent variables. Everything around us can be considered variable. A variable is an object, event, idea, a feeling, time, period, or any type of category you are trying to measure. Two types of variables. The first one is dependent variables, or we can say that is y, and we can say that is output. What do you mean by dependent variables? Whose value is determined by that of one or more other variables in a function. It is something that depends on other factors. For example, a test score could be a dependent variable because it could change depending on several factors, such as how much you studied, how concentrated are you when you are studying, how hungry you were when you took it, or how convenient the place where you took it. A dependent variables also depend on the independent variable. The second one is independent variables, or X, or input. Is a mathematical variable that is independent on the other variables in an expression or function and whose value determines one or more of the values of the other variables. It is a variable that stands alone and isn't changed by the other variables you are trying to measure. It controls the dependent variable. For example, the age of a person is an independent variable because the factors such as what they eat, the kind of lifestyle they have, or the kind of work they have won't change their age. Y depends on x. For example, the equation y equals to x plus 5. If you assign x equals to 3, the value of y equals to 11. Let's have the activity. Determine the dependent and independent variables. For number 1, if I change the amount of water a plant receives, the height of the plant will change. So let's consider dependent variables and independent variables. Let's go first for the dependent variables. The dependent variables here is the height of the plant. The independent variables is the water. As you can see, the independent is the water, because the dependent variables depend for the water, or the height of the plant depend for the water. Number 2, at the grocery store, the amount of fresh chicken is 110 per kilogram. So dependent variables and independent. So dependent variables first is the cost of dressed chicken, and the independent variables is the weight of the dressed chicken. Why? Because the cost of dressed chicken is depend to the weight of dressed chicken. Number 3, you drive at a rate of 30 kilometers per hour for 3 hours. So let's identify the dependent and independent. So the dependent is distance you drive, and independent is hours you drive. So the distance you drive depend to the hours you drive. So that's it.